scrolling with the mouse wheel. That's different. I like it.
It looks so good.
Mas aonde você termina o seu gameplay, o progresso já está salvo.
Oh, from here?
It's from this one, so cool. All right. Let's get kicked off. Thanks for coming, everyone. Really excited to be back in person, giving talks and all of that great stuff. So my name is Andrew Giuliano, and I'm a developer relations engineer working to help developers be successful with Google Play technologies. And I'm very excited to give this talk with my friend from Com2uS, G1, to share some of the success story with Com2uS on Google Play games on PC.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Oh, that was a bit loud, sorry. Thank you for taking the time to join our session today. My name is Jiwon, and I'm from the business development team at Com2uS HQ, where I work with key platform partners to bring better experiences to gamers all over the world.
Cool. So in case you're just joining us, Google Play Games on PC is a gaming platform which allows users to play their favorite Android games on PC. And our vision is to make gaming across mobile and large screens seamless and enjoyable. When you switch devices, your purchases and progress transfer seamlessly, so you never have to worry about restarting your favorite game from scratch on a new device. And with Google Play Games on PC, you'll be able to play your games on a larger screen, which can be both more immersive and easier to play with a keyboard and mouse. We are continually expanding the catalog so that users can play their favorite games on the platform. Summoner's War is one of the most played games which our users love. And we're so excited to now have Summoner War Chronicles on the platform, which brings a new adventure to players. Let me hand it over to Jiwon to share more about the game.
Thank you, Andrew. So Summoner's War is a turn-based strategy mobile RPG that was released globally in June 2014. Now, nearly 9 years later, we're proud to say that Summoner's War has become one of the most popular mobile game IPs in the world, with over 180 million downloads and $2.7 billion in earnings worldwide. The game is set in the Summoner's War universe, where players as summoners can summon over 1,000 different kinds of monsters and train them in various PvE modes to get them ready to battle against other players in real-time PvP in the Sky Arena. The game has amassed a large and active community of loyal users, many of whom have been with us from the very start. So we're continuously working to release new content to increase the lifetime value of our players. Summoner's War Chronicles is a new MMORPG that's set in the same universe as Summoner's War. The storyline actually takes place years before the events of the original game, and in Chronicles, summoners aren't just an NPC. Players can actually take on the role of a summoner and have skills of their own that can be utilized during combat to give your team an advantage over your opponent. The game offers a fresh take on the Summoner's War universe with its combination of strategic gameplay and immersive storytelling, but its key feature is the ability to play across multiple platforms, so this is mobile, tablet, and PC, without losing any of your game progress. But I'll talk more on that later on.
So bringing your games to larger screens allows you to grow your business with a valuable multi-platform audience. There are already 2.5 billion mobile gamers and 1 billion PC gamers, with more joining every day. Our research shows significant crossover in mobile gamers who also play their games on PC, which means there's already a large, motivated audience ready to play your game on more screens today. And when we ask mobile players around the world if they would like to see their mobile games come to PC, the answer we hear is a resounding yes across many of the largest markets in the world. In November 2022, Summoner's War Chronicles simultaneously released on both mobile and Google Play games in the United States, which meant that on day one, players were able to enjoy this game across surfaces. Their PC version provided players with a new level of gaming experience, allowing them to enjoy the game on a larger screen with more advanced hardware. With crossplay, players are able to choose the best way for them to enjoy that game at the moment. For example, using a large screen to experience immersive storytelling, or using a keyboard and mouse for that extra capability to deal with a hard boss fight. And of course, mobile devices still give players a full game experience with more flexibility to play on the go. One of the best features with Google Play Games on PC is seamless continuity. Powered by Play Game Services sign-in, players can get their progress synced automatically whenever they play on a new device without worrying to remember a password. And it probably shouldn't come as a surprise for me to tell you that we generally see stronger engagement for those players to play the same game on multiple devices, which is why we leverage the power of the Play Store to give a unique discovery experience for players to find cross-play capabilities. Here, players can remote install on their PC, or, install the game on their PC if it's available on the platform. And after that, they can play across devices with the same Google account, which keeps track of their progress and play features like play points.
Thanks, Andrew. So now I'll share some insights from our onboarding journey on Google Play Games for PC. Firstly, it was relatively easy to develop, as essentially it shares the same Android build structure as its mobile counterpart. But there are a few mobile-only features and permissions that we had to remove from the app's manifest, as they aren't supported on Google Play Games. Aside from this, the main challenge that we faced was the graphics compatibility issue with the Vulkan API and the developer emulator supplied by Google for testing purposes. But this has since been resolved. And during the development process, we continuously exchanged feedback with the development team at Google, from testing early versions of the game through to getting the final version certified and ready for release. All of this was incredibly helpful, as we basically got real-time feedback for any issues that we were experiencing. Also, we had previously onboarded the original Summoner's War to Google Play Games, so integrating PGS was relatively easy as well, as we had already passed the certification stage using a similar UX flow. Within the Summoner's War Chronicles development studio, we have a team dedicated to multi-platform development who are responsible for developing and optimizing the various builds for each platform. Aside from a few minor features that need to be adjusted for optimization purposes, such as the default FPS settings, the game's main content is the same regardless of which platform you're playing on. In terms of QA, prior to the GPG launch, we ran extensive tests due to the before-mentioned Vulkan graphics issue. But now we just conduct our usual in-house QA, similar to what we do for mobile. As much as mobile technology has advanced, it's still behind PCs in terms of device specs. So it was difficult for us to achieve the level of performance that we really wanted on lower-end mobile devices. Crossplay allows us to support a wide range of environments, from higher-end PC devices to lower-end mobile devices. And this allows us to provide the best possible game experience to all of our users and let them choose how to set their graphics or their quality settings. Enabling crossplay is not a simple task and requires careful planning and execution from the very beginning of the game development process. It's important to start with early game design considerations to measure how the gameplay mechanics will work across those different platforms. For example, we need to ensure that players on different platforms are not at a disadvantage due to differences in hardware or input devices. Since the Unity engine supports a multi-platform development environment, we're able to prepare different builds for each platform without any major problems. And the Windows PC build is currently available on Google Play Games on PC, our in-house Hive platform, and Steam. And we're currently doing R&D to add support for even more platforms in the future. Another important aspect is to design the user experience with cross-platform ability in mind. For example, the game's interface should be designed easily so that it's easy to navigate and intuitive for players on all platforms. UI should be designed for easy layout for different screen sizes. The challenge with going multi-platform is having to add support for each platform's diverse input systems. Summoner's War Chronicles currently supports keyboard, mouse, and game controller. But we heard from our player base that a lot of them want game controller support, as it's an essential feature that allows players to enjoy the game on larger screens, such as tablets and foldable phones. Unfortunately, this isn't currently supported on Google Play Games, but I have been told that the controller support will be coming soon, which is great news for us. Okay. As MMORPGs tend to require more time investment from its players, we added autoplay support so users can quickly progress within the game whilst multitasking. We found that users tend to lower the quality settings when playing on mobile devices in order to reduce overheating and network usage, even when using a higher-end device. And on PC, we were able to create a more pleasant play environment by supporting high-end graphics resources, high-performance graphics options, and more flexible input systems. It's also important to ensure that various resolutions are supported so that players can carry on playing whilst performing other tasks if they wish to do so.
Cool. So let's talk a little bit more about how graphics work on Google Play Games on PC and how Com2uS optimizes your game for the best performance on the platform. But first, let's take a quick look at how the game plays on mobile, Google Play Games on PC, and their native PC build. So you can see the recording on my right for all three form factors. And as we can see, Com2uS was able to create a rich, immersive experience across all three builds. With their PC versions, they are able to take advantage of that extra space to create an even more immersive experience. So now let's discuss a little bit more about the graphics stack on Google Play Games on PC. For most compatible PC devices, we use Vulkan as the first choice of graphics API for the platform. We understand that most mobile games on Android are still using OpenGLES, so we provide Angle as the auto-translation layer so that those games will just work. Also, as we announced last week, you can get started on the platform with your ARM build, which you already use today for mobile. However, our goal is to deliver a native performance of your mobile game on PC, so we recommend using Vulkan as well as building your game in x86-64 to optimize your performance on the platform. We expect that it should be easy to configure with most game engines. And with the Android app bundle, you can simply add the extra ABI into your existing build without having to worry about size. So in fewer words, we want to make it easy for developers to bring their mobile game and get started on the platform as soon as possible. However, we strongly recommend building an x86 64-bit version of the game and using Vulkan to get the most out of the platform. We'll also be covering this more in detail during our next session at 3 p.m. here in this room. And with that, let's take a closer look at how Com2uS took this a step further and optimized their game for Summoner War Chronicles, which is actually a Vulkan-only game across form factors, including mobile. Summoner's War Chronicles was developed by making major modifications to the Unity render pipeline. In order to do this, Com2uS needed to decide on a graphics API to use. And among other reasons, they ended up choosing Vulkan as its ability to serve multiple platforms. The goal was to develop the game for cutting-edge graphics across all surfaces. And Vulkan is an API that directly accesses hardware and has the advantage of reducing CPU overhead by enabling parallel processing using multithreading. Due to the nature of mobile MMORPGs, high device performance is required to be able to simultaneously process data from multiple players. And while 85% of Android devices support Vulkan, it is a fair trade-off to be able to maximize their efforts on providing the best possible graphics quality. With Vulkan, Com2uS implemented custom deferred rendering, which allowed them to implement multi-light and various shading. And with instancing implementation, it increased the number of meshes, materials, and textures that they could use in a scene. If you're interested in hearing more detailed information about Vulkan, you shouldn't miss the session tomorrow at 3:50 p.m., where my colleague Nate will show you more about Vulkan versus GLES performance. So thank you all for being here today. It's been an honor and a pleasure to share this story here with Jiwon.
Right. Thank you once again for your time and attention. I look forward to seeing the growth of Google Play Games together with Summoner's War. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.